everybody. I'm Margo Praus.
And I'm Susan Schneider, and we are the co-founders and co-chairs of the San Joaquin County Climate Action Coalition.
And when did the Climate Action Coalition start? And what's the reason for being?
Well, Margo and I got together in the summer of 2017, realizing that we've got a climate crisis to deal with, and that by pooling our resources and connecting some of the local organizations that were already working a bit on this issue, that we could have a more powerful effect.
I see you guys are connected to Sierra Club, Audubon, Peace and Justice Network, CCL Stockton, and 350 Sacramento. What do those folks have to do with climate action?
Every single one of those groups has climate action as their focus. And in fact, almost every organization in town right now has listed climate change as one of its main focuses to lobby for and advocate for. So it's there.
So what is a current project that you're working on?
Well, let's talk about the anti-idling.
Right from the beginning, we worked with education of the community at tabling events and dissemination and advocacy. We've done lobbying and such, but we wanted to have specific community projects too. So the two that we've worked on the most are vehicle idling and tree planting.
And the importance of idling, you can see the signs we have in the background here. Turn off your engine, and you can see on these signs that they actually have children walking through the exhaust smoke, and that's why the big red slash through it comes about.
It's anti-idling outside of schools while parents are waiting to pick up their children. Is that the thing?
Well, that's the focus of the signs. Valley Air District provided the signs for all schools in the area, and what we found was that schools were not posting them. So we really worked hard to reach out, talk to principals and teachers, and try and get them to hang the signs. Before the COVID shutdown, Susan and I, accompanied by Dan Wright, our Stockton City Council member, met with Superintendent Musalimas and did a presentation there, and they were very enthusiastic about the idea. And some schools now have the signs posted, so we're really pleased that it's happening.
So it's not just the schools though, right? I mean, you can also stop idling at other places where you're sitting for an hour or for a long time just having your car run, right?
Yes, indeed, but there was an existing nonprofit in the state called Idle Free California that was working on idling in general, but had some school projects that had been tested and run in other states like Vermont successfully, and that had already been used, in fact, in several other school districts in California. So we tried to bring that along with working on getting the signs actually posted, and throughout the county, not just Stockton, but Lodi, for example, most of the Lodi schools actually did post their signs. Stockton, it was not so successful. So we worked on idling through a number of means, also education at our tabling events. But like Margo said, we also met several times, not just with Musalimas, then we did all the district superintendents. They let us address all of those people. And we met with someone at the County Office of Education about this and tried to get them to prioritize this. And one of our major successes, actually something that we clearly contributed to, was that last November, I think it was, the Stockton Unified School District did vote to mandate idle-free zones at all of the schools in the district.
So the bottom line is what you want to encourage people who are watching this is to recognize when they're idling and to keep their greenhouse gas emissions lower by doing so, right?
Yes, because the addition to the greenhouse gas emissions is huge. Car manufacturers recommend that you don't idle, and it's because cars today, it's harder on them if you're idling than if you turn it off and turn it on again. So there are places where if you don't have kids and you're not waiting for your kids out in front of the school, if you're waiting at the takeout pharmacy at CVS, you know, sometimes that line is very slow, It'll be 10 minutes, 15 minutes between cars. It's important to turn the car off and then turn it back on when you need it. So, but we focus on schools because children's lungs are the hardest hit. And walking through the exhaust from their parents' cars is something we just simply aren't thinking about.
One important thing to add, the manufacturers and the scientists who have studied this agree that you don't need to idle your car more than about 10 seconds, even in the winter, unless you're in a really cold place, which of course this area wouldn't qualify.
So if you're stuck in a drive-through or if you're stuck behind traffic when they're doing construction, turn off your engine.
Exactly.
Or at a train stop, yeah. And I want to say too that there was an educational component to
Yes.
the anti-idling that came to us, and one teacher in our area utilized it with her 5th and 6th grade class, and it was extremely successful.
Yeah.
The students learned about the concept, taught the concept to younger students, reached out to the parents. Well, they did their data collection first, and then they reached out to the parents, and then they evaluated what kind of a difference they made. And they were very enthusiastic about it, to the point where the little kids, the little 1st and 2nd graders who the older children taught, told their parents that they should not be idling.
So, and we were talking about planting seeds, and that's another project that you've been working on is getting more trees in Stockton, is that right?
Yes, there's a number of organizations working on that. Puentes is one. I don't know if they're going to be in this video series too, yes, but we had our own small project, and we did get some trees in the ground in 2 separate locations, one of them in South Stockton.
So
Yeah.
springtime, I mean, people should be thinking about planting trees. Because, and why is planting trees important for the climate?
Because it absorbs carbon, and it shades the earth, and it makes the environment look better too. It makes people feel better. There are many positives that come from trees. So you have other organizations. I don't know how many you're videotaping for this, but Fathers and Families is really vigorous on tree planting. I think the TCC grant has tree planting.
Yes.
I know the AB 617 funds that are coming to Stockton involves tree planting. So there's a lot of efforts right now that are looking at tree.
Be aware of what's coming to their city council, because there are things that may be coming up that are environmental, that are talking about climate action, and that we want to make certain that people are tuned into that, right?
We would really like that. The more they hear from the people, the better. Yes.
Trees also take in pollution, and air pollution is such a problem in the valley, including in the San Joaquin County area.
Definitely. So in terms of people getting active or getting engaged with an organization, there's your group. There's also Sierra Club, Audubon.
Yes.
So how can people get in touch with you?
Well, the Climate Action Coalition has a Facebook page that's accessible, and
An email distribution list,
yeah.
which you can contact through the Facebook page.
Yeah. Sierra Club has a website. It's called the Delta Sierra Group in this area. We have Zoom meetings. I mean, since COVID came about, we have not met in person. Normally we have monthly meetings, general membership meetings. We do tabling, we do outreach, but you can also go on our website.
And Audubon as well. I mean, there are bird watches that are organized, things like that.
Yes, indeed. And Audubon nationally and locally supports action on the climate crisis also. And we have a website also, San Joaquin Audubon, and a Facebook page, Instagram page, that's new. And we do occasionally have programs that are related to climate. In fact, I just gave a talk for Sacramento Audubon on climate change.
So these organizations exist. It's just a matter of people joining up and getting together and realizing that climate action is an important issue.
How about mentioning Citizens Climate Lobby?
Yeah, all the organizations are fairly open, so you don't have to be a member to come to the various meetings. and the outreach. You can always contact someone, and you're always more than welcome.
Yeah.
Citizens Climate Lobby is another organization that we've been on kind of a hiatus since COVID hit, and we've not regrouped just yet, but it's called the Citizens Climate Lobby. It has a single issue focus, and it looks at lobbying our Congress leaders to pass carbon fee legislation. I know that with the new administration in Washington, D.C., I believe they're looking at, again, assessing a cost to the social cost of carbon. There's more than just paying for the gas in the car. There's what it does to the air that's not being paid for. It's like, how do you deal with the health issues and all those things? So they're looking at revising that.
People should pay attention to the infrastructure bill that's going through now. I mean, this is a new year for climate change. I mean, it's been denied for decades, and it seems that now it's being listened to.
Well, and it's a crisis. We are in a crisis, and I think that's why every organization, at least every environmental justice organization in the area, has climate change as one of its key issues right now, is because it is a crisis. We are getting closer and closer to a point of not being able to reverse these effects.
Yeah, we need to take as much action at all levels as quickly as possible.
Good. I'm glad there's an organization that is focused primarily on climate action, and it's a coalition of groups. So if people want to take part, they can just jump in.
Yeah.
Indeed, they'd be very welcome.
I'm going to talk a little bit too about my Sierra Club group, which Sierra Club as a national group is on a Ready for 100 campaign, which is they expect to be 100% renewable. I think by 2035. I think they should look at making it sooner, but that's what their goal is. My local group, the Delta Sierra group, our people are very active. We have someone on the advisory committee for the Valley Air District. We have someone on the advisory committee for SJCOG. We have someone monitoring Port Stockton activities, which needs to be monitored fairly closely. We have one of our members on the water board, and we have a member who created his own project along the Calaveras River, looking at the plot of land right behind UOP that is focused on native plants. And it's just, he's going to be our speaker for our April meeting. So,
And those meetings are?
Pardon?
When are those meetings? When and where?
It's usually the fourth Monday of the month. April will be the last one for this year, and then we'll start up again in August. So,
And hopefully in person at that point.
I don't hold my breath for that. We'll see.
And Audubon has a climate-related program coming up in April too. There's a guy talking about trees in trouble, which Sierra Club is kind of helping with, including the effects of climate change on the trees in the Sierra. Oh boy, we got background noise. And perhaps I can mention too, on behalf of the coalition, I do give talks to local organizations in the county. I'd be happy to do that for anyone. I've spoken to 4 of our local Rotary chapters. I've spoken to our local engineering club. I've spoken for Sierra Club. I was supposed to speak at the big downtown library in Stockton, but COVID.
We certainly hope to see everybody out there when people can start gathering again.
Yes, indeed.